Hello, fellow targeted individuals. The deep state, the shadow government are pretty much synonymous when it comes as far as describing how they correlate and how the words go together, because the shadow government is really, in my opinion, nothing more than this quasi-state government movement based on committees, roundtables, citizens core programs, and many different groups. I'm sure the CIA has them, the FBI indeed has one called InfraGard, and many of these groups are filled with good people. But what happens is when someone is targeted, they may find themselves targeted by a variety of different groups which are trying to profit off this activity under the guises of national security. See, the Central Intelligence Agency hasn't been audited since the 1960s, but it's been operating on U.S. bases all across this nation. I have found these people in law firms, business fronts, dealing with one group at it wasn't a college, a university. It was an Office of Community Engagement. They may utilize a variety of different people from different backgrounds, some from backgrounds which are very questionable, and at times some of these people are part of like fringe groups at one time, or maybe still are, which are watched by our government. So there's a double standard in a lot of these operations based on gang stalking. See, at one time the government would target socialists and communists. But I witnessed in Austin, Texas, one CIA agent dealing with a group like Antifa. So there's all this chatter about Trump, and he's anti-American in the Insurrection Act and why he should be disqualified. But when billions of dollars were burned down in buildings and property, we didn't see the government spending the amount of resources like they are now to arrest people. So there's this big double standard within our government now more than ever. They are people now which are being labeled as domestic terrorists more than ever. There is even a committee comprised of National Security Agency advisors which have all went against Trump. You can go around here in Central Florida, that's unheard of. You're not going to find a bunch of conservatives saying, no, we want to support Sally that's transgendered being able to take a shower with Billy in a middle school locker room. And here in Florida, you're just not going to see that here in Florida or in most states. So a lot of what we're seeing is phony baloney, people playing a part so they can climb up the ladder. That's just my opinion. When you're a targeted individual, these aspects of the shadow government, which are like roundtables at times, different select groups of corporations and businesses at times with a common purpose, they will conceal these activities knowing what they're linked to. And what they'll do is they'll say, oh, it's national security, public safety. We're here to help the community. Let's get our interagency partners involved. And what will happen is these targets which go to the FBI as a last resort due to desperation, the phone is slammed on them. We're talking about people which are asking the government for help. They're in fear for their safety. What do scary people do when they fear for their safety and there's no help? They typically do things to protect themselves, right? So if you're a targeted individual, don't go out and do anything stupid. We've had a lot of crazy events occur due to these activities, which the media does not acknowledge. See, there's a lot of people which are believing in these conspiracy theories concerning like, what do you call the, like, you hear about these false flags and they call them crisis workers. A lot of this is phony baloney. Now, of course, crisis workers and actors are used, but that's typically for like emergency management, preparedness, preparing for an emergency. So this is my opinion from what I've seen here in Florida. Now, there is a group that operates in an area here in Florida where only the Central Intelligence Agency and the National Security Agency were hiring at that time. And at that time, I was being harassed by a very clandestine group. They must have a main office in Virginia because some of these guys have Virginia tags. They dress really fancy. A lot of them are making, I would say, a little under $150,000 a year, and they're comprised of people, I would say, that are really young in their 20s, and maybe until like the mid-30s, some of them, and even higher. And they outsource. They have older people too. They'll use veterans. They'll outsource. These people will use locksmiths. They're really good in like as far as hacking. They have people in the IT field. They'll use transgender, radical feminists. So this group is very clandestine, and they may have people wearing a green reflective vest, just like a CERT member, showing up, maybe walk up to you, whistle in your face, try to skip you in line, call a high-risk operation to police. And police will never help you with these issues. I've only heard of one cop, and he couldn't even go down the rabbit hole very deep, because you need a lot of time and you need a lot of resources. This is not something that can be stopped with local police. It requires people utilizing stingray technology and the ability to arrest CIA agents. So if they cannot do that, then they're of no use. We need people like involved in like signals intelligence, national security. If our national security agency works for the CIA, you can't trust them. I don't care if they wear suits and we're the good guys. It's bullshit. Absolute bullshit. See, there's some extreme proof which shows that some of the things these people are doing are things that are only displayed during our worst mass shootings in our nation. So what are people doing in the Marines and the Army? I have videos, this is no joke, where you actually see an entire gas station in a small town filled repetitively with white and black cars, defense contractors, people walking up to me going, even the gas station clerk said he was sick of it. It's like they're trying to systematically entrap you and create a scene. So our enemies, they create a scene, and they utilize people at times which have severe impairments, mental impairments, health issues, that do not want to live. And they give them a very large insurance policy. Some of these guys have over $100,000 or even more in insurance for like emergency management under different titles and insurance policy to cover them if anything goes wrong. So the shadow government is nothing more than a reflection of the deep state, in my opinion, because not every single regional council or citizens corps program is bad, but there are some groups which have found ways to abuse the system. So when someone talks to you about the deep state, you don't have to read a bunch of articles or books to understand what the deep state is. All it is just rogue, nefarious actors within our government which have been able to abuse the system for illegal means by conducting acts which are unconstitutional. So there's at times social engineering behind this, Satanist, fraud, and they may portray themselves as being, oh, we're the good guys. They may even write books and articles to cover up what people are saying because they want to try to say it's a conspiracy theory. It's not a conspiracy theory. See, the term deep state is nothing more than a term utilized to refer to describe bad actors within the government. And the shadow government is nothing more than aspects of it, quasi-state government agencies and groups in the background. Some of them are regional councils running citizens corps programs. They may go by different titles like municipal league. They may be involved in like diversity and inclusion, climate change programs, things involving spraying the air like chemtrails and stuff like that, and how they can get more money for like improving the environment. So behind environmentalism and different other agendas are even more wicked agendas that we don't even know about. Some I'm not even going to talk about, which I've heard about because I cannot say if they're true or not. I only want to talk about things that I know are true. And what I do know to be true is that they are people that sacrifice their lives on behalf of organizations. Some are Masonic for more rank. They risk their lives for their brotherhoods and other groups, thinking that they're dealing with a terrorism threat and a dangerous person. And what they will do is they will do what they're told to antagonize that target, to neutralize that target and destroy their life. And in exchange, if something goes wrong, their family is going to be able to get some money. So you have some people that are they're in desperate need for money. They're in desperate health, and they'll do anything for money. Some of them are foreigners. The CIA is using foreigners and different groups. So since the early 1960s, there's been no audit on the CIA. No audit. So if there's no audit, there's no transparency. The reason why the GOA cannot do an audit is because the CIA is not providing enough information for them to do an audit. So that tells you a lot about the Central Intelligence Agency. And that tells you that the deep state is real. Because if there was no deep state, think about it. If there was no deep state, then why would Trump be talking about it? Why is there books on Amazon talking about it? Talking about shady characters within the government, which spy on us, which want to put labels on people. Oh, you're a Republican? Well, now you're an extremist. You like America? You like to pray? You like the Constitution? Well, now you're a domestic terrorist. Or people can just slap a label on you or on anybody that speaks up for conservative values. They can just slap a label on you because you may have a voice. If you have a couple 100,000 followers, whatever. They want to slap this label on you, designating you a terror threat. You're a threat to the democracy of those which want to promote perversion to our youth, bring it into our schools and into our military through social engineering. So there are some components of social engineering. A lot of this is tied to like promoting mass shootings and terrorism. And you'll notice that every time there's one, they want to bring in radical feminists, the same types of groups that are being used to promote these things. So we got to say no to violence, Bellati's. I'm about to go and get me some milk. Say no to violence. Say no to terrorism. There's nothing wrong with exposing evil. When you expose evil, they'll come your way. I've seen them come into restaurants with a bunch of elderly people, black and white cars, SUVs, Porsches, Lamborghinis, and past states. These guys are not the good guys. So I'm just telling you from what I know. See, if these people if they're under immunity, and we don't know, like let's say you're harassed by an FBI agent, and you can prove they're an FBI agent. Well, how do you get their name to sue them? Is the FBI going to provide that name? Is the CIA going to furnish that name of that CIA agent which has harassed you? It's for that reason why artificial intelligence, when you go to ChatGPT, they'll praise the CIA and NSA and these different groups. They can't say anything bad about them because everything is done secretly. See, people which are like speaking the truth, that are in a situation where they're outnumbered, typically they won't make these kind of videos because all it does is put more attention on them. But you won't find my channel asking for money, donations, nothing like that underneath this video. You won't find that. I'm not even asking people to subscribe to my channel. I'm just telling you from what I've seen and what I know. Because I had a private investigator, he told me, I can't do no more work for you. He told me that it was messing with him psychologically. Because he would see things that they would come. This is no joke. I had a relative that was raped in Austin, Texas. I told the FBI, they just slammed the phone like it was normal. And when I get to this place, there's no one there. It's just me and my relative. Guess who shows up minutes later? The rapist in a bunch of black SUVs. I have a video that shows a bunch of black SUVs. These people were preparing for me to do something. They've tried everything in the book. Everything they can to destroy me. They've used allegations after allegations. They'll use women. They'll use kids, baby strollers. They'll go into schools. They'll use cops. They'll use out-of-town cops to try to destroy your life. Anyway, say no to violence. Say no to terrorism. God bless and peace.